Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little about, I guess not really like a tech, but like do a skill highlight on a skill that I really think is underappreciated and underused, and I think is actually really, really strong, maybe even borderline OP. And that is going to be Mana Remnants. This skill pretty much solves any mana issues that I have with any of my characters by having it on and, equipped. Now, what this skill does is it gives you the ability to spawn Mana Remnants whenever you either hit an enemy critically or just hit them when they have an elemental ailment on them. And as you can see right here, each remnant grants 231 mana. So that is a lot of mana if you can think about it, because look at my mana right now. I have about 1,000 mana. That is basically a fifth of my mana right there in one remnant. And this spawns a lot of remnants. Now, the reason why I talk about it is because my current build, which is the Glacial Lance build, uses a lot of mana when there's a lot of enemies on the screen. I'm going to show you how much mana I actually eat on this map when I don't have Mana Remnants on. You'll see that my mana just disappears. Like, look at that. My mana is already gone, and I'm eating mana pots like crazy. Now, one thing is that I don't have any mana on kill on my character, which will help, but honestly, it doesn't solve the issue. I still need to eat mana potions. Now, you saw that it eats a lot of mana, right? I'm basically running out of mana after a couple attacks. Now, let's put on Mana Remnants, and you will see that my problems basically disappear when it comes to mana sustain issues. I am pretty much constantly at full mana through my mapping process, and I basically never have to eat mana pots. And for the most part, dipping below maximum mana is pretty much very, very rare. Because one, the Mana Remnants are just spawning on the ground constantly because I'm constantly critting them. But also on top of that, my mana is overflowing. So as you can see, whenever I am, walking around grabbing these Mana Remnants, I'm getting up to like 2,000 something mana at many points in time. And that allows me to, just basically have a huge buffer for mana that even if I'm not picking up a Mana Remnant instantly, I always have enough mana for my skills because I just have over max mana for my character. So you can see here, I'm just literally going around throwing my lance, my Glacial Lance, not having a single issue with mana whatsoever. Now, if I just keep spamming, of course, I'll start to dip below, but I can walk over those Mana Remnants quickly and, be basically back at full mana right then and there. Now, this ability that I'm not really incentivized to keep throwing it like quickly in succession, so it's pretty much never a real world situation where I have to spam it like this. But like, look at this. I'm literally going around just spamming the Glacial Lance, and I'm never running out of mana. It is very impressive and really just allows me to upkeep my mana super high all the time without ever having to worry about anything. Now, for this build, I did end up taking out Ghost Dance to make room for this, but honestly, the trade and survivability, which was never really necessary anyways in maps, is extremely worth it for me. Like, just look at this. I just never have any issues with mana whatsoever. Just walk around throwing attacks out, just never have to worry about anything. So yeah, it's just super, super useful, and I'm just going to pour out of this map. I know I'm not done with it, but I'm just going to pour out of here, just talk about the skill a little bit more and explain what I use for it for the support gem. It's very, very simple. There's really not much to it. As you see here, I have Mana Remnants, 20 quality, and for my support gems, I'm using Magnetism to make it so that I get to grab the little remnants from further away. I pretty much never have to think about the remnants at all. And then I use Dissipate to make it so that the effects of them are greater. And even though they vanish in 3 seconds, that's pretty much never a problem because we're always walking and moving anyways. So we're always grabbing them, and it's basically just a free 35% increased effect. So this is really, really good for mana sustain. Now, the one thing I know a lot of you guys are going to be asking is, wait, well, I don't have elemental ailments on my abilities. How am I going to have elemental ailments to grab the, take advantage of Mana Remnants? Well, it's actually pretty dang easy to do that. So if you look at what an elemental ailment is, right? It's ignite, chill, freeze, shock, and electrocute. Now, ignite, freeze, shock, and electrocute are all things that kind of have a threshold. So you need to do enough damage to be able to actually inflict those ailments. But chill is something that can be inflicted pretty much as long as you do any form of cold damage to an enemy. It will pretty much always chill them. So all you need to do if you're using an attack character, have a little bit of cold damage on your weapon, on your rings, on your glove, or you could even use something like cold infusion on your attacks, and that will also suffice. Pretty much any little bit of cold damage you have on your character is going to be enough to make it so that these enemies are chilled, and you can take advantage of Mana Remnants. If you have a spell build, then you can have a wand or a staff with like extra damage gained as cold or something like that, either on the wand itself or you can socket it in. Basically something like that, or maybe you're even just using a elemental skill in general. I think the only ones that don't really use elementals are like bone skills for the most part. Most people in the game are using crit builds, and most people in the game are using elemental builds at this point. So pretty much it's going to be applicable for almost anybody. So if you are using a physical spell, you can just socket like, increase damage, extra damage as cold, or like have it in your wand or your staff or something like that. So very, very easy. Most people are going to have it. The only time when you don't have it is maybe if you're using elemental focus and you can't inflict elemental ailments on your skill. If that's the case, then you're unfortunately out of luck there. But for the most part, most people are going to be able to take advantage of this and use Mana Remnant to keep their mana upkeep very, very high. Of course, there are probably some spells that are using like 1,000 mana at a time or something like that, and that's going to be kind of hard to make this upkeep that. But I'd say in most use cases, this is going to be solving every single mana issue that you have on your characters going forward. So that's about it. A little bit of a short video, but I just thought that this was something that was really cool to highlight, and I wanted y'all to know about it. So if you think that this was helpful, if you found this helpful and useful, please let me know down in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the subscribe button. It is the best and easiest way, and also free, the best free way to support the channel. And I also stream every single night, twitch.tv/me/sheer, so I'd love to see you guys there. But if I don't get to see you guys there, don't worry. Hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys, peace.